Hello everybody, it's Vertical Sandwich. Welcome back to the no death, all gold stars speedrun of SteamWorld Dig. So we're in Vectron, we've collected our mineral detector. We still have not got, I think our next thing to get is static dash, and then I don't remember what the last thing is. What's the last thing? But now we're making some real money. And that's how you take care of those guys, kind of. I mean, breaking things with your hand with your punch is not very efficient until you've upgraded it a couple times. It is very satisfying to punch generators with it, though. And there clearly was no way I was going to let that orb go. Even though I don't have the world's greatest handle on how to get to it. I guess we got it. Nothing like punching those guys. I mean, the heart drops are really nice, too. But at this point, I mean... the amount of life we have is kind of... I mean, it's... I guess it's standard for this area of the game, but... now we've unlocked Andy. So now we can get more powerful, you know, things. Like drills and punches. And of course, eventually something like, you know, damage reduction. So there we go. Upgraded punch, upgraded drill. And you can see what I was saying about abusing teleportation, right? Although I did forget to recharge my teleporter there. And one of the things that should be said is abusing teleportation is fine. The only issue with it is then what you have to remember is because you're going to have to backtrack. You're going to have to go back to get the generators that are in Archaea and Old World. And when you do that, the game will remember that the last teleporter you used. So you're going to want to use the tubes to get to where you want to get to. And then watch out what teleporter you pick. Because frankly, if you pick the wrong one, and that was a great circumstantial kill, right? If you pick the wrong one, then you have to do a bunch more. Like if you go down to the middle teleporter, I guess I don't know what to... oh, what I'm trying to say is, the last teleporter you'll hit will be the one right outside of the boss room. And if you go back up and you use a teleporter that's in, like, Old World, then you have to walk all the way through Vectron again. That's the thing I'm trying to get across. So what you want to do is use the teleporter by the final boss to come back to the tube system and then walk to the... I mean, the first cave has the generator in it in Archaea, so it's not a big deal. But in Old World, it's the third cave. So you've got to go to Old World and walk your way all the way back down. If you don't, you've made a mistake. Which means, again, you have to pilot your way all the way through Vectron again. You do have time for that, if you do a better job of collecting treasure in Old World than I did. I like how these guys don't seem to know what their job is, sometimes. Like, you can jump right in front of them and they don't freak out. This is, in my opinion, by the way, the most dangerous part of the game, is when you get to these things that fall up. Because all you gotta do is stand on top of one, and I think the spikes will hit you, it will freeze you, and then you end up getting crushed. And crushed is instant death. And dying in this game is not the biggest deal in the world from a kind of completing the game standpoint. I think you lose some of your resources, and that's about it. But again, for our achievement collection, dying is verboten. So. I don't quite mind this laser-heavy area. Again, I mind these things that fall up. So this is our static dash collection cave. I don't know why I couldn't place a teleporter where I was trying to place it. So Gargantuan Pouch is a cool unlock. But first and foremost, health and teleporter. And you really cannot overestimate how important it is to use a good amount of teleporters in this game. Because, I mean, again, yeah, like, backtracking is awful. It's not a thing you want to spend a lot of your time doing. I also, like... I don't think you can get that anyway except steam jumping into it. And I'm kind of lost here. I really don't know what I'm doing. Except panicking about not dying in the acid or whatever it is. Because clearly what I'm doing here is not working. But steam jumping into it does in fact work. But we do get a free refill here for picking up Static Dash, so. And again, I have trouble making Static Dash work without Steam Jump here. It's kind of nice. Beating that guy up from below. He deserves it. But, like, I clearly don't know what's going on here. it should be painfully obvious to me that I'm not putting cracks in this dumb thing. And it's not like this area is optional. I think it's the only way to get to the generator. But that's what you have to do right there, is just jump, butt your head against it, and you're good. That is so satisfying. It really is. Alright. And here we go. This will get us our orbs over here. And water's always nice as well. And that's not subtle at all. We can, at this point, we can afford to take a little damage from these guys. They're not the worst thing that ever happened to us. Alright, cool. Secrets upon secrets upon secrets. And this right here is not my personal favorite thing that the game makes us do. But the dynamite is a very quick and elegant solution, I'm gonna go with. Because I think the game expects you to try to make that guy target you and then blow that thing up, but I don't think anybody in their right mind wants to do that. Not when you could just drop dynamite. Alright, good deal. Always more things. That was really weird. But I mean, the descent is now picking up a lot of speed. I mean, at this point, the game kind of gives up on making you, like, giving you ways out and such. Like, it's just about making you navigate kind of a platformer. Oh, I remember that. I remember how absolutely horrible, like, how horribly frustrating that was for me. He couldn't. He shut off the laser. That was nice of him. Or her. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to just assign a gender to these drilling machines. I mean, the ones that I don't know the names of, anyway. That's an interesting thing. For a while, I was actually spending a lot of time kind of watching people talk about AI research, and that's a subject that never comes up. Like, the idea of gendered AIs. Because clearly it doesn't, I mean, you know, gender is a product of biology. I mean, like, the reason we have, you know, the reason we have any kind of identity related to our biology is because of our biological genders. So, you know, if we were an organism that could reproduce in ways that were not dependent on I'm trying to dance around the idea that I'm not trying to say that I subscribe to the absolute binary nature of biological gender and confusing it with gender identity, which is a different thing that is you know, not as cut and dry as just, you know, X and Y chromosomes. What I'm saying is that gender, like AIs might very well have a gender identity, because that is how we would be comfortable programming them and dealing with them. It's part of the uncanny valley idea, right? That things, at some point, the more like us things are, the less creepy they are, at some point. But an AI wouldn't have a need. I mean, wouldn't necessitate any kind of differentiation. Like, they wouldn't have to have distinct, you know, identity, like roles as females or males, because they would have no use for. I mean, they don't have any of the things that kind of they don't require, like an AI to interact with another AI wouldn't, you know, be constrained to its wouldn't constrain its interactions in something as arbitrary as that, right? Like, now they might have a similar identity for function that, like, AIs that were designed for, like, let's just go into this world, right? Like, an AI that's designed for mining might never interact with an AI that's designed for accounting, because the two things have no compatibility because they were designed for unrelated purposes. But it certainly wouldn't matter. Like, it wouldn't need to matter to a mining AI whether or not it had a, you know, whether or not it had a female or masculine gender identity or any other kind. It's an interesting concept to think about. It's fun because actually, like, there's a lot of the ancillary trilogy deals a lot with the personhood of AIs and kind of the emotional structures and needs of artificial intelligences. And one of the things it does is makes its characters kind of ubiquitously female. And I thought that was interesting, is that very rarely was a character referred to as male. And I was like, oh, that's like a thing, right? I mean, any science fiction writer that gives it any kind of thought, would intuitively understand that it's if a biological sex is going to be eliminated from a civilization, it's going to be the male one, because genetic information can be supplied using science for mating easier than the biological capacity to carry a child can. Man, this went really, like, I went really off the rails, just kind of having this discussion. Anyway, science fiction is fun. And like I said, the ideas of, you know, the ideas about how we would translate our ideas of what is kind of normal and human to AIs is an interesting concept. As is the concept of eliminating an entire biological gender. But, you know. Crazy stuff. I don't think I get this one in the ceiling. I think it's another one you have to get with a steam jump. And it almost looks like I don't have the water for that. So we're very close to my next exit out into the menu, and that's where this video is gonna stop. So, you know, when we come back to this, it's actually probably, I'm gonna do the rest of this post commentary tomorrow. And so I'll be way off the track of what we were talking about today. It's not gonna be lecture part 2 on gender identities in artificial intelligence. But again, fun ideas are fun ideas. Science fiction is great because the human imagination is a vastly underrated thing. But I actually kind of wish I was still recording this commentary later tonight, because I kind of want to talk about the human imagination now. But, I'll see you for the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye, everybody.